Of the Maha Kumbh, it's the day of Lohri. It's also the first Monday after we've woken up with the not Sunday but stair day controversy. We'll be covering all of that on the program today. Without any further ado, let's get started. Maha Kumbh 2025, the confluence of faith, colours, sounds, energy as the first dip actually takes place. Lakhs of devotees are already there. We bring you a glimpse. 90-hour work week. Is it a Sunday or a stair day? Well, Twitter and social media, even the corporate world is abuzz with the statements that have come in from the L&T chairman. Also, it's an iconic day for those in the valley. Perhaps the biggest Himalayan infrastructure project that has been unfolded so far, the Z-Morh transforming the Ladakh route. That is going to be inaugurated today. We'll bring you again a ground report. The day is here. The banks of the Triveni Sangam in Prayagraj are alive with vibrant colours, sounds and energy as pilgrims from around the world have already started gathering for the 2025 Maha Kumbh, a once-in-a-lifetime spiritual event. Now running until the 26th of February, that's about 45 days or so, it is expected to attract about 40 crore devotees. This grand gathering, the largest religious festival in the world, offers spiritual purification and other confluence as the Ganga, Yamuna and Saraswati rivers, emphasizing the unity and cultural heritage. There are about 4 distinct types of Kumbh. For anybody confused about why this one is so big, well, the Maha Kumbh happens only once in every 144 years, making it exceptionally significant. Then there is the Purna Kumbh that happens every 12 years. There is the Ardh Kumbh, as the name suggests, every 6 years, and then the Maha Mela and the annual observance that is held during the months of January and February every year. Now, why is this one so important? Why is this time of the year so significant? Because astrologically, the event's timing is determined by the positions of the moon, the sun, the Jupiter as well. The next Maha Kumbh will only occur in 2169. Now, that's a date one can imagine, really. Further highlighting the event's unique importance and what is unfolding in front of us today. Now, the festival also features some key bathing dates, or Shahi Snans as they are called, and we thought it would be a good idea to sort of get that for you over there. So you have all of those dates on your screen on which are going to be the 6 most important dates. So take a quick screenshot of that. Remember, those are the ones. But if you can't, any other time of the month also great. But while we give you all those details, let's also take you live on the ground. Let's take you to Prayagraj to understand how exactly day 1 is unfolding. Akash Sharma is joining us from Prayagraj this morning. Good morning, Akash. One has to say, we've been looking at your reports coming in through the night, and this morning it seems to be terribly cold as well. Give us a sense of the temperatures there at the moment and how they just don't seem to be dampening the spirits of devotees at all.
Good morning, Sonal. Yes, temperatures are dropping up to 6 and 7 degrees Celsius here. But when it is about the particular occasion, so it's an auspicious occasion. And in fact, I am one of those thousands of people who are, feeling themselves lucky to be a part of this festival. This event, in fact, the occasion has come after 12 years, as you rightly mentioned. This is Maha Kumbh and lakhs of people are taking part in it. First of all, I'll try to give you a sense as to how people are, being a part of the inaugural snan, that is Paush Purnima. In fact, I'm showing you visuals from Sangam Ghat, where these people are coming for a holy dip in the, holy water. And in fact, we have to understand that lakhs of people have already taken a dip. From tomorrow onwards, Sonal, we are, having the royal bath, that is Shahi Snan. Panchayati Akhada is going to, lost Akhada, that is going to be a part of the Shahi Snan. But at this point in time, as far as preparations are concerned, so we have, everything in place. In fact, people who are available here are very happy with the kind of preparations we have. State agencies, central agencies, all are working in coordination. In fact, we have contingency plans activated as well. We have 2 helicopters from Indian Army, 2 from Indian Air Force, in fact, divers from Indian Navy, to cater for any sort of possible contingency. As of now, this is the inaugural snan that has started from today. So
Right. And we're getting a bit of a network issue there with Akash. While we try and settle that, let's also take a look with what the Chief Minister of the state had to say. Remember, it's an extremely exhausting exercise, one that has to be meticulously planned to organize a confluence of such a large amount of people coming into Prayagraj on just in the course of 45 days. This is what the Chief Minister had to say.
आप याद करिए, इस पूरे आयोजन में 40 करोड़ की आबादी आएगी। 40 करोड़ लोग, 40 करोड़ श्रद्धालु, साधु संत, देश और दुनिया के अतिथि वहां सहभागी बनने जा रहे हैं। 40 करोड़ की आबादी दुनिया के अंदर भारत और चीन के बाद किसी और देश के पास नहीं है। जितनी आबादी एक अस्थायी स्थिति में अकेले प्रयागराज में आने वाली है। मां गंगा, यमुना और सरस्वती नदी के त्रिवेणी में संगम में स्नान करने का एक सौभाग्य प्राप्त होगा। लोगों को वहां पर उत्तर प्रदेश को जानने, भारत को जानने, भारत की आध्यात्मिक विरासत को संतों के माध्यम से, उनके शिविर के माध्यम से, उनके अखाड़ों के माध्यम से जानने और देखने का अवसर प्राप्त होगा।
All right, so that was the Chief Minister. Akash is back with us. Akash, also give us a sense of how people are feeling on this first morning of the Maha Kumbh. What kind of people have actually come together? What are they looking forward to?
Right, Sonal, I'll directly cut to these students. In fact, these Gurukul students who are here. In fact, these... All right, and we when we talk about these students, the smallest, and in fact this kid is a very part of this group. He's just 9 years old, Sonal. I'll try to talk to him once and then I'll come back to you. क्या नाम है आपका और मुझे बताइए कहाँ से आए हैं आप?
मेरा नाम आयुष कुमार झा। मैं मधुबनी सरसोपाई से आया हूँ।
लेकिन आप तो बहुत छोटे से हैं, कितने साल के हैं आप?
मैं 9 साल का हूँ।
9 साल के हैं, गुरुकुल में ही रहते हैं?
हाँ।
और पहली बार महाकुंभ में हैं, ऑफ कोर्स आप तो पिछली बार जब आप तो जन्म भी नहीं हुआ होगा आपका।
हाँ।
पहली बार ही कुंभ में आए हैं?
हाँ।
इससे पहले भी यहाँ प्रयागराज आना हुआ? नहीं। मम्मी पापा के पास कब कब जाते हैं?
5-6 महीना रहते।
5-6 महीने बाद। और सुबह कितने बजे? मैंने तो सुना है कि गुरुकुल का शेड्यूल बड़ा टाइट होता है, सुबह कितने बजे उठना होता है, जरा हमें बताइए।
सुबह के 3-4 बजे तक उठ जाते हैं सब। हाँ। उठ के फिर जाते हैं ब्रश करके, फिर नहा धो के फिर जाते हैं, नहा धो के कपड़े धोती पहन के फिर जाते संध्या वंदन पे बैठ जाते हैं। हाँ। संध्या वंदन से उठते हैं तो रुद्राभिषेक होता है। हाँ। रुद्राभिषेक के बाद फिर थोड़ी देर पढ़ाई पे बैठते हैं। पढ़ाई के बाद फिर से खाना भोजन होता है। तब उसके भोजन के बाद फिर पढ़ाई होता है। पढ़ाई के बाद फिर सब खेलते हैं।
समझ गया। आयुष, मुझे बताइए, मेरे पास भी टाइम कम है, मुझे ये बताओ, अच्छा लग रहा है यहाँ के? बढ़िया लग रहा है एकदम?
हाँ।
और जो लोग देख रहे हैं उन्हें जरा बताओ कैसा फील कर रहे हैं यहाँ पे, कैसे इंतजाम है, सब कुछ तैयारियाँ कैसी हैं? यहाँ पे डरो नहीं?
हाँ, अच्छा ठीक है।
अच्छा, ऑलराइट। सो Sonal, you see, when this is about the particular occasion and this particular place, so a variety of devotees are coming here. In fact, I'll try to give you a sense of how this Prayag area is looking like. In fact, I am, showing you this report that I filed just a few hours back, where I'm trying to show you the sense. In fact, I'm trying to give you a sense of how it is looking like here in Prayagraj from Shastri Bridge. One of the grand assembly of rituals and largest religious gathering of the world. This is Maha Kumbh that has come after 12 years. And I'm standing at Shastri Bridge here in Prayagraj. We'll try to give you a sense as to how and what it looks like. This is the area where we are going to see the celebration, in fact, the gathering, where crores of people are expected to participate. Basically, when we talk about Kumbh, so we know that Kumbh occurs 4 times in 12 years, and after 12 years, we have this Maha Kumbh, where we have 6 Shahi Snan, the royal bath, and we have 13 akharas. In fact, the timings and the schedule as to which akhara will go first in every royal bath has come out. We have got a lot of preparations out there. Camera person Ravinder is showing you these visuals. This is the tent city, and in fact this Prayag area near Sangam is the hub of these religious activities and the gathering, where we have sadhus, sannyasis, sadhvis, and all those spiritual leaders from across the world who have some sort of belief in Hindu traditions, culture, and mythology.
In fact, Maha Kumbh, not just an occasion for spiritual leaders, but for the common man as well. And if you are planning to go to the Prayagraj and try out and get an experience yourself, what exactly are the arrangement rights? Well, we tried to find out with our colleague Sapna, who did a tour of the luxury camps and accommodation, trying to highlight what exactly has been the blend of spirituality and indulgence in Prayagraj. Take a look.
शहर की क्षमता 5 से 10 करोड़ ही हो तो ऐसी टेंट सिटी तैयार करनी पड़ती है और यही देखिए तैयार की गई है। लेकिन मैं आपको बताऊं बहुत खूबसूरत तरीके से टेंट सिटी को तैयार किया गया। देखिए पूरा गार्डन थीम दिया गया है। ये देखिए ये ITDC यानी कि इंडियन टूरिज्म डेवलपमेंट कोऑपरेशन की ओर से तैयार की गई है और लोगों ने यहाँ विजिट करना भी शुरू कर दिया। देखिए जैसे ये लोग हैं ये सभी विजिट करने के लिए आए हुए हैं कि कैसी ये टेंट सिटी है। ये देखिए इस तरीके से इनको ले जाने के लिए कार्ट भी है कि अगर वो चाहें तो जो है इस कार्ट के थ्रू अलग अलग अपनी जो जगहें हैं या जो उनके कैंप अलॉट हुए हैं वहाँ तक जा भी सकते हैं। तो ये पूरा गार्डन व्यू दिया गया है। आप देख सकते हैं जैसे फ्लैट्स के नंबर होते हैं सबको नंबरिंग कर दिया गया है और इनका फेयर 20,000 तक जाता है। 20 to 25,000 स्टार्टिंग इनकी होती है 14,000 से 25,000 तक जाता है। अब मैं आपको एक कैंप के अंदर भी लेकर चलती हूँ। जैसे मान लीजिए ये कैंप मैंने अलॉट कराया है, मैंने इसका पेमेंट किया है तो 201 मुझे ये कैंप नंबर मिला। ये सिटिंग अरेंजमेंट दे दिया गया है, गार्डन व्यू दिया गया है। उसके बाद अंदर चलकर आप देख सकते हैं ये देखिए पूरा लग्जूरियस प्रॉपर्टी इस तरीके से दी गई है। वॉशरूम देखिए कितने क्लीन, यहाँ इस तरीके से क्लीन वॉशरूम्स एकदम यहाँ पर दिए गए हैं। पूरा ध्यान रखा गया है कि आप अगर यहाँ पर जो अपना मनी दे रहे हैं वो वर्थ हो। ये देखिए पूरा क्लीन वॉशरूम 14,000। अच्छा, जिस कैंप में इस वक्त मैं मौजूद है जैसे आपको एक होटल में पूरी व्यवस्था मिलती है, कुछ वैसी व्यवस्था यहाँ पर दी गई है। पूरी व्यवस्था मुझे वैसी नजर आ रही है। जरा आप बाहर आए, यहाँ पर आकर हम देखते हैं। आप आके जरा बात करें कितना फेयर रखा है आपने?
14,000 प्लस टैक्सेस।
14,000 प्लस टैक्सेस। जो वैसे लोग हैं उनके लिए ज्यादा होगा, लेकिन क्या आपने पूरा बुक हो गया ये सब कुछ?
नहीं, पूरा बुक अभी नहीं हुआ है, ऑलमोस्ट बुक हो चुका है हमारा। ऑलमोस्ट बुक हो चुका है।
शाही स्नान पर भी 14,000 ही है?
नहीं, शाही स्नान पे 20,000 है।
20,000 है। तो जिस कैंप में मैं इस वक्त गई थी ये 14,000 है। इससे भी ज्यादा जाता है कॉस्ट यहाँ पर? तो इससे भी अच्छे कैंप है?
यस मैम, 30,000 का है हमारा मैक्सिमम जो है।
अच्छा, उसमें क्या क्या और आप दे रहे हैं?
थोड़ा लग्जरियस ज्यादा है उसका व्यू ज्यादा अच्छा है। वो जो पीछे रिवर व्यू है वो।
And Kumbh promises to be a unique experience for devotees this year. From Shankar Mahadevan to Mohit Chauhan to Kailash Kher, several singers are said to add a musical touch to spirituality. And Anand Narsimhan had a candid conversation with Kailash Kher about this, who's set to perform on the 23rd of February. Listen in.
धर्म और पंथ में कंफ्यूज कर जाते हैं,
पंथ
बहुत ज्यादा,
बहुत कंफ्यूजन चला है।
अब एक और, जैसे आपने कहा कि संत हैं, योगी हैं जो कि अपना काम कर रहे हैं, तो एक योगी जी, योगी आदित्यनाथ भी हैं। कहीं ना कहीं आपको लगता है कि जब से उन्होंने उत्तर प्रदेश में कमान संभाली है, कुंभ की भी प्रतिभा और उसकी जो
बहुत उसका जो पूरा वैभव और उसका जो पूरा गौरव है वो पुनः स्थापित हो रहा है। अब देखिए, लाखों की संख्या में टेंट बन रहे हैं। टेंट, जब टेंट बनते हैं, मान लीजिए अस्थाई घर जिन्हें हम कहते हैं, उनके लिए व्यवस्थाओं का भी होना बड़ा आवश्यक है। व्यवस्थाओं के साथ साथ भावनाओं का भी होना बड़ा आवश्यक है। जो पहले कभी नहीं हुआ वो अब हो रहा है। क्यों? क्योंकि देवलोक से तपस्वियों को ही भेजा गया है। एक इधर, ये भी योगी से कम नहीं है। जो पीएम है हमारे, ये भी एक योगी हैं, एक बैरागी हैं। इनको बैराग हो गया है इस देश से, इस देश के वासियों से, कि नहीं, जो बिगड़ा हुआ है उसे सुधारना है। और वो लक्ष्य से कभी भटकते नहीं। क्यों? क्योंकि ईश्वर जब चुनते हैं तो चुनौतियां ज्यादा देते हैं कि भाई ये मेरा पहलवान तगड़ा है, इसको और तगड़े बनाओ, इसको और तगड़ा, उसके लिए और ज्यादा जो एक्सरसाइज और व्यायामशाला उसकी सबसे तगड़ी होती है ट्रेनिंग, तो चुनौतियां उसके पास आती हैं। मैं आपको एक हंसी की बात बताता हूं साहब, भगवान कैसे खेल खेलते हैं। प्रधानमंत्री श्री नरेंद्र मोदी जी को जब प्रधानमंत्री पहली बार मेरे विश्व ने, मेरे परमात्मा ने, मेरे देशवासियों ने बनाया, तो भगवान ने एक चुनौती जल्दी से भेजी उनके लिए। एकदम, अरे मेरा बालक सिंहासन पे बैठा है और जल्दी से इसकी तपस्या भंग करता हूं, जरा इसकी परीक्षा लेता हूं। एक बाढ़ भेज दी जम्मू कश्मीर के पास। जम्मू कश्मीर में बाढ़ भेज दी तो एक चैलेंज आ गया, अरे यार ये अनएक्सपेक्टेड काम क्या हो गया अचानक। तो एक प्रधानमंत्री जो पहली बार संसद देख रहा है और माथा टेक कर अंदर गए हैं, तो बैठते ही कुर्सी पे अचानक यार नया सामान ये आ गया समस्या का, अब कैसे करें। देखिए साहब, ट्रेनिंग जिसे हम प्रशिक्षण कहते हैं, जो मंदी आंच पर जो कठिनाइयों की, कुटिलताओं की, जटिलताओं की मंदी आंच पर सीख कर जो बर्तन तैयार हुआ हो, आप उसको देखिए, उस कुंभ को आप कितना भी छेड़ दें वो हमेशा टन टन बोलेगा। इनका विवेक और इनका अनुभव कैसे काम आया जब इन्होंने वहां राहत कार्य अपनी आर्मी से लगवाए और भोजन वितरित कर रहे थे हेलीकॉप्टरों से। आपको पता है, शत्रु को भी जिंदा रखना राजा का धर्म होता है। तो पहले जो दूसरी साइड के लोग कुछ थोड़ा सा उससे अफेक्टेड हुए थे, उनको भी पहले जिंदा रखना। देखिए सिद्धांत किसे कहते हैं, राजा का पहला सिद्धांत क्या है भाई, शत्रु को भी मजबूरी में नहीं मारना भाई, युद्ध के सिद्धांतों से मारना है। तो उनको जिंदा करो पहले। फूड उनको भी वितरित कराए थे जी। तो देखिए राहत कार्य भी वहीं से तय कर लिया था परमात्मा ने। हाँ, मेरे बालक में तो भाई जो मैंने गुण डाले वो हैं। तो बाबा हमेशा देखते हैं ठोक ठोक के कुंभ मेरा पक्का है कि नहीं। तो ये कुंभकार ने ऐसे गढ़े हैं। तो जब ऐसा आपके पास निमित्त हो जाते हैं, ऐसे कृतित्व हो जाते हैं, तो फिर परमात्मा जिस दिशा में उन्मुख कराते हैं वो पूरा देश हमारा फिर देखता हर दिन, और हर दिन का लक्ष्य आप देखिए। तो अब महाकुंभ एक महा उत्सव की तरह पूरा विश्व मना रहा है। सर, विश्व से हमारे जानकार लोग आ रहे हैं, पहले पता भी नहीं था।
All right, if there is one story that kept everyone talking this weekend, it was 7 days working comment by the Larsen & Toubro chairperson. Now, the statement received nationwide backlash on social media. There has been an extremely creative set of meme fest that has been gone. Reactions from industry leaders and even Bollywood actor Deepika Padukone, who's been a strong advocate of mental health, expressed her shock at the comment. Now, people said, move aside Narayan Murthy, move aside 70 hours, Larsen and Toubro's 90-hour work week is here. A day after, the L&T tried to justify its chairman's remarks as well, saying that the extraordinary outcomes require extraordinary efforts. The statement had set the ball rolling on the debate on mental health and how this routine can damage your overall health in the long run. But there is a thin line. There is an argument on the other side as well. Let's try and understand which way this is swinging. Joining us now is Jitin Bhasin. He's the CEO and founder of Sewell. Hi, good morning, Jitin. Thanks so much for joining us. How was your Sunday? Let me start by asking you that.
Good morning, Sonal. Sunday, it was a nice Sunday. I think it's nice and cold and misty in Delhi where I am. So yeah, beautiful Sunday.
Okay. So, Jitin, there are so many aspects of this comment that have been broken down, spoken about, editorials written. But I want to keep the sexism aspect of it aside for a minute and come to the basic thing that people have been missing. The question actually that was asked to the chairman was that why is a company like yours still not into 5 days? Why do you still have working Saturdays? That was the question asked in a government, in sort of an internal forum. To which his response was, I wish I could make you work even on Sunday. The thing that I find very problematic about this statement is not the fact that he himself wants to work Sundays and is very driven by work and results and all of it, as anybody in his position should be perhaps, but the fact that he said I want to make you work on Sundays. Is that the part which has been most problematic?
Yeah, I believe so, Sonal. I think, when you're building a business, I fundamentally believe that businesses do require extraordinary inputs, but I think then it has to start from the top. And the basic construct here is that when you're building an organization, and as large an organization as L&T is, and even startups like us, right? I think leaders have to lead by example, and people will go where leaders will lead them to. Now, my view on this is that you can expect people to work X hours. Somebody says 70, somebody says 80, somebody says 90. I'm sure there is somebody out there who will be thinking 100, right? But I think it has to start from the top, and people have to understand that this is a sensitive subject, more so in times like these because people are always connected. Now, 10, 20 years back, probably, people just had a BlackBerry 15, 20 years back and nothing much, right? You could just check emails, but now people are connected all the time anyway. So I think it's very difficult to draw a line as to when is somebody working. I mean, unless you are on a shop floor in a factory. But all other tech-driven businesses, I think people do remain significantly connected anyway. So I think it's very important to define how do you want to define work. When you say, I want to make you work 90 hours, you have to define work. So I think that probably could have been worded a little better.
Worded a little better, or do you think this opens up conversation for a larger debate which is actually related to labor laws? If you are expecting people to work longer hours, then maybe compensate them in the same manner?
Yeah. No, I think that's a very important point. I agree, Sonu, that risk and reward can be sometimes disproportionate, for leaders versus the average employee in the company. And I think if you want everybody to be benchmarked with the same yardstick, then I think it's important to define rewards, recognition programs for people accordingly. So I personally believe that if you want to work X hours, so be it. But then everybody then should be very clear with the expectations in that particular organization, and rewards have to be structured accordingly. Now, there may be people out there who will say, okay, fine, we will do it. But I think then rewards and the overall structure has to be very clear. But sometimes that is not that clear, and I think that also is a raw nerve here.
Right. We're also, while we speak to you, Jitin, we are playing out the comments that Anand Mahindra made over the weekend as well, where he said he loved staring at his wife. That was a dig at the L&T chairman directly. But he also went on to make a very important message. He said that your efficiency at work cannot be determined by the number of hours you put in. Why is it getting so hard for people to understand that?
No, I think I do absolutely agree with Mr. Mahindra here that I think efficiency today has to be defined by the impact that you can create. Now, one could create the same impact in 50% of the time. So time should not be the yardstick unless you're running a factory where you're watching the clock. Because those outputs sometimes can be a strict function of the input and man hours become important. But I think for most tech-driven businesses, and India is now becoming a service economy, and in fact, that's an area where people do use a lot of technology. Today there is automation. Today there is availability of AI. So I think it's imprudent to define and measure efficiency only by number of hours that people are putting in. I think that's a little antiquated way of possibly measuring the impact. And impact, I think, is the defining force here for most organizations, right? And I think then businesses can take a calibrated approach as to what is required for them to make the necessary impact that they envision to, and make sure that all people are aligned with that particular vision. So I personally absolutely agree that impact should be the guiding light and not possibly the number of hours.
Impact you're making, goals that you're actually achieving, that should be the guiding force of good, bad, ugly, workspaces, not the number of hours that you're saying. But if I were to play the devil's advocate here, Jitin, the argument on the other side has often been that, listen, look, not all companies can be the same. Companies also have phases, like all of us have life phases. They have phases in which they need to put in the extra hour. They need to burn the midnight oil. For example, startups as a culture said to be one of hustling, because that's just the nature of the demon, if you can call it that. That's just how they are structured. But can L&T afford to use that argument?
No, let me take the example of a startup because I run one. So I think when you start a company, Sonal, when you are a founder, I think it does take disproportionate effort from your side, and there are no two ways about it. But having said that, I think people who want to change the world, people who want to build things that people love and start using, they are mentally prepared to go that extra mile. They train, and I compare this with an athlete's life. So if you want to be an elite athlete, it doesn't happen overnight. You prepare for it, you're equipped for it, you're driven, you train, you have that mindset, you have that grit, you have that determination. So when you talk about people who are building companies, they need to necessarily demonstrate these attributes, and they are mentally prepared to possibly make sacrifices that an average person may not want to. And I think it's difficult to judge because in today's day and age, people have their own goals. People have their own expectations from their own life, and I think they attune everything in their lives accordingly. So I think my fundamental take on this is that if I want to do something and if I want to build a business which requires X amount of input from me on a daily basis, and if I'm okay with it, then so be it. But I think one has to make that judicious balance for the overall organization, because not everybody in the organization may want to do this. So, just like if you're playing sport, and sometimes in a sport, some people train more, they are expected to perform at a better rate, but not everybody in that team can be as good as them. So I think that differentiation has to be made with a lot of, let's say, sensitive judgment. And it is for leaders to make sure that they are able to maximize what people are able to contribute in the organization, rather than straitjacket everybody. Having said that, I will also say that a little bit of, let's say, clarity, both from both sides, goes a long way in ironing out such issues. And I think that expectation management is the root cause of friction. And I think if people can make sure that expectations are clearly defined, then it can go a long way in solving this.
And it has to start with communication, right? It has to be, like we've done in several previous episodes of TBC as well, we've spoken about how communication is key. If you're going in through a period where a lot of work is required, more work is required to be pulled off, please communicate that to your employees and let them know that this is going to be, say, the condition for the next quarter. And after that, we expect things to get better, etc. But, we keep putting it back to, say, a Narayan Murthy or Mr. Subramaniam. The point is the 90-hour or 70-hour work week is not a concept which is new. In fact, the conversation online is that a lot of the boomer generation is actually fixated on it. Do you see this as a generational gap at all? Do you see younger leaders perhaps not buy in on this concept?
No, certainly I think there could be an element of people who build businesses during different eras. And I think it's not only about the age, it's about the availability of resources. So if you dial back 30 years, the amount of technology that was available, communication tools that were available, the penetration of internet, it was almost zilch, right, as compared to what it is today. So I think people who built businesses, and these are terrific businesses, these are big businesses that we are talking about, and extremely respectable names that we are talking about here, Sonal. So I think when they make statements, they possibly make those statements with an understanding of how they built businesses back in the day. But having said that, as humans evolve and so do businesses, so I think today people are trying to find the right balance in terms of how can they work with the newer crop of people. And I think there's a lot of talk about how Gen Z, employees are being, let's say, coached and dealt with, and all the necessary attributes that businesses need from their workforce. I think it's inevitable because almost 50% of the workforce is now converging towards Gen Z, right?
Yes.
So I think they have a different mindset. And that's not wrong. I think every generation is expected and entitled to have a mindset and expectation set. So I think it is for businesses to evolve, businesses to be flexible and understand how to get the best out of people. And certainly, I think there could be an argument that, as you rightly use this term, boomer entrepreneurs, right? They may have a different take, but I think life is about evolution. So yeah, we have to find the way forward.
Yeah, but if I can quickly sort of squeeze in another question then, Jitin, it is also about getting the right health reward balance against the kind of work that you're doing in. Is that something that you seem as the path forward? As not going into the extremes, not saying 90-hour work week or 9 hours a day, not between the two of them. Do you see a middle path as something which will talk about well-being on the whole of the organization and the employee?
No. So I think for any organization to succeed, there is a balance that one needs to create between employee happiness, customer happiness, and shareholder happiness. I think this is the holy trinity which has to be balanced, and it is the job of the people at the helm of affairs to ensure that this balance is maintained and it's sustainable, right? So as you mentioned, right, there could be phases where you may want to slog. There could be phases where you clearly define that, hey, we have to slog, we have a new product launch, we have a certain ambition, and that's fine. But maintaining overall balance, and especially health balance and mental health balance and physical health balance, I think has become extremely critical for organizations. And in my personal view, and since I run a business in the healthcare space, I think in my personal view, historically organizations have possibly restricted themselves to a hospitalization kind of coverage at the workplace, and they thought that is enough, right? But the fact of the matter is that an average young employee, which now constitutes 50-60% of the workforce, does not get hospitalized. Maybe only 5% people may face such acute events. But what happens is, on a daily basis, when you come to work, you are faced with long commutes, you are faced with mental stress, you're always connected. You have physical disorders, you could have image-oriented problems which may impact the way you think and the way you perform. And on top of that, you have this expectation that you have to work X hours. So I think the organizations and forward-looking organizations must invest in holistic employee wellness. So it's not only work-life balance today. I think it is work, life, health, and reward balance. I think that's extremely important. So one has to create an equitable ecosystem where you can clearly build, programs which are truly impactful.
Yeah. All right, Jitin, we'll leave it there for the moment. There's so much more to be discussed on this story, actually, but we'll come back and we'll visit this more in the coming week as well. For now, thank you so much for joining us. And with that, we're going to slip into a quick break. On the other side, we've got another infrastructure major breakthrough landmark moment coming in from the Himalayan ranges. The Z-Morh, as it's set to transform, that tunnel is set to transform the Himalayan region between Ladakh and the valley. We'll bring you more on the other side.
Today is the inaugural snan here in Maha Kumbh. I'm showing you the visuals first of all. Camera person Ravinder will show you the visuals from Sangam Ghat directly, where thousands of devotees are taking a holy dip. In fact, there you see the arrangements, and in fact, the visuals where UP police and other agencies are also deployed. And there you have these pilgrims, these devotees who have come here to be a part of this mega festival that has come after 12 years. I'll try to talk to people as well. महाराज जी, आपका नाम बताइए, कहाँ से आए हैं?
हम दमरी से आए हैं, हमारा नाम प्रेमपाल है।
प्रेमपाल जी, प्रेमपाल जी हर साल आते हैं, हर बार कुंभ में आते हैं या इस बार महाकुंभ में ही आए हैं?
ना, एक दफा और आए थे पहला कुंभ में और अब आए हैं।
एक बार और आए थे पहले। कैसे हैं इंतजाम? इंतजाम बढ़िया है?
इंतजाम बहुत बढ़िया है।
बहुत बढ़िया है। कोई कमी नहीं है? कहाँ ठहरे हैं?
कोई कमी ना है। पहले हम आए थे, बहुत इंतजाम थे।
कोई कमी ना है। कहाँ ठहरे भैया हैं?
हम उतर पलंग ठहरे हैं।
पलंग ठहरे हैं? अच्छा, और जो घर पे देख रहे हैं उन्हें कछु कहना चाहेंगे? कछु कहना चाहेंगे उन्हें? कैसे इंतजाम है जो घर पे देख रहे हैं? वो आमे तो कहाँ ध्यान रखें?
ये यहीं आए घाट पे और कहाँ पर आए ये सब?
नहीं, घाट पे तो आए, लेकिन बहुत सारे लोग ऐसे हैं जो सिर्फ इसलिए नहीं आ पा रहे हैं, उन्हें लग रहा है कि बहुत भीड़ होगी, बहुत इंतजाम नहीं होगा। उस हिसाब से इंतजाम कैसे हैं उन्हें बता दीजिए जरा।
इंतजाम बहुत बढ़िया है।
इंतजाम बहुत बढ़िया है। आपका नाम क्या है? कहाँ से आए?
मेरा नाम गौरव, मैं लोनी गाजियाबाद से आया।
लोनी गाजियाबाद से आए? हम भी दिल्ली से आए हैं। अच्छा, ये बताइए गौरव, पहली बार आ रहे हैं?
जी,
पहला स्नान है आज। स्नान कर लिए?
स्नान करने जा रहे हैं।
परिवार के साथ आए या अकेले आए?
दोस्त के साथ आया हूँ सर।
दोस्त के साथ आए हैं। और महाकुंभ में पहली बार हिस्सा बन रहे हैं। मैं इंतजाम इसलिए पूछ रहा हूं क्योंकि अभी मौजूदा समय में जो लोग टीवी पर देख रहे हैं उनके दिमाग में सबसे पहले यही सवाल है कि इंतजाम कैसे हैं, लाखों लोग आएंगे कैसे। जरा हमें बताइए विस्तृत तौर पर किस तरह से इंतजाम है।
सर, इंतजाम है ना, प्रशासन के भी बहुत अच्छे हैं, हमारे योगी सरकार के भी इंतजाम बहुत अच्छे हैं।
इंतजाम बहुत अच्छा है।
बहुत अच्छा लगा यहाँ पे।
शाही स्नान का हिस्सा होंगे कल? शाही स्नान में?
जी, कल का भी है। हाँ जी।
तो यहाँ रुके हुए कितने दिनों के लिए हैं?
अभी 2-3 दिन के लिए आए हैं। अभी काशी विश्वनाथ के दर्शन करके आ रहे हैं।
काशी विश्वनाथ के दर्शन करके। I'll try to talk to some more people, Kuhina. I'll try to give you some more voices as far as this occasion is concerned. आप कहाँ से आए हैं? बड़ा एकदम
बंगाल से। सर, हम बंगाल से आए हैं।
बंगाल से आए हैं? पहली बार है ये?
हाँ, पहली बार है सर।
क्या कुछ अच्छा लग रहा है? सबसे अच्छा क्या लग रहा है यहाँ?
सर, सब लोग एक साथ आके गंगा में नहा रहे हैं, बहुत अच्छा लग रहा है। बहुत महफिल है, बहुत बढ़िया महफिल है।
कितने दिनों के लिए है?
कितने दिनों के लिए? 45 दिनों के लिए सुने हैं।
नहीं, कुंभ तो 45 दिनों के लिए। आप कितने दिनों?
हम 2 दिन के लिए सर।
आप 2 दिन के लिए हैं? पातालपुरी और तमाम तरीके की जो जगह हैं जिनका प्रधानमंत्री ने इनॉग्रेशन किया था, वहाँ भी जाने का प्लान है?
हाँ सर, हम तो सोच रहे हैं, हमारी टीम सोच रहे हैं जाने के लिए। देखते हैं क्या होता है।
अच्छा, किसी अखाड़े में गए?
नहीं, अभी तक नहीं गए।
संत महात्माओं को हमने तो देखा, कल नागा साधु आ रहे थे, तमाम तरीके का एकदम अलग माहौल है।
हम ना वो नहीं देखे हैं, हम मिस कर दिया उसको। मैंने रात में आए थे हम इधर, तो कुछ बहुत मिस हो गया है। कोई दिक्कत नहीं है। आज घूमेंगे, सारा दिन घूमेंगे, कोई दिक्कत।
लेकिन कोई परेशानी नहीं है?
नहीं, कोई परेशानी नहीं। बहुत अच्छा लग रहा है।
बहुत अच्छा लग रहा है, बहुत बढ़िया लग रहा है। हर हर महादेव।
All right, so Kuhina, you see, the focus is on preparations because of the fact that lakhs of people, crores of people are going to come here to be a part of this mega festival. This festival has come after 12 years. We know that how important and significant it is, for Hindus and in fact for all those who believe in Sanatan. This is the reason why we have, thousands of people, in fact, present here since 3 a.m. I'm here, and I have been seeing people coming.
Welcome back. Now imagine the journey to Sonmarg, once a long winding road through challenging hilly terrain, but significantly shortened by one tunnel. That tunnel is called the Z-Morh tunnel. This engineering marvel is part of the government's broader initiative to improve connectivity in the Himalayan region, and it's set to transform travel in the area as well. Prime Minister Narendra Modi is all set to inaugurate the Z-Morh tunnel today, and this 6.5 kilometer long tunnel, part of the Srinagar-Leh National Highway, is going to be a game changer, giving us all-weather access to Sonmarg, one of the region's most popular tourist spots. Now, what does this mean? Well, this tunnel will make travel between Gagangir and Sonmarg way easier and help smooth out the journey to Ladakh, especially during the winter. With the massive investment, this project was developed under the build, operate, transform model, and it's all set to boost tourism, connectivity, even security in the area. This tunnel also symbolizes more than just shortcut through the mountains. It represents progress, connectivity for the people of Jammu and Kashmir. Here's a glimpse of what it actually looks like.
Modi is all set to inaugurate the highly anticipated Z-Morh tunnel on 13th of January. This 6.4 kilometer tunnel is a game changer for the region, providing all-weather connectivity to the picturesque tourist destination of Sunmarg and contributing to the strategic aim of ensuring round-the-year accessibility to the Kashmir and Ladakh. The Z-Morh tunnel is a part of a larger project that includes the construction of a 13-kilometer-long Zojila tunnel, which is also underway. Once operational, these two tunnels will establish an all-weather connect between the Kashmir Valley and Ladakh, significantly reducing travel disruptions during the coming winter years.
सर, हम प्रधानमंत्री साहब को मोस्ट वेलकम कर रहे हैं, क्योंकि ये हमारे लिए खुशी की बात है आफ्टर लॉन्ग टाइम कि जो यहाँ पे ये टनल खुल गई है, Z-Morh टनल, इसकी वजह से हमें बहुत बड़ा फायदा आएगा कि विंटर में खुला रहेगा।
हम इसको बहुत बहुत मुबारक बोलता है सर, हमारे लिए इसके बहुत फायदा है। जैसे हाँ, हमारा 6 महीना बंद रहता था, ना हमको हरा सब्जी मिलता था, ना राशन पानी मिलता था, बहुत 10 रुपए की जगह में 50-50 रुपए देकर खरीदना पड़ता था। इस वक्त हमारे लिए वो बहुत जो भी चीज आएगा, इस वक्त जोजिला बंद नहीं होया है, लेकिन काम किसी चीज की हमारा कारगिल और लेह में प्रॉब्लम नहीं है, मतलब उसका कहती भी नहीं है। नहीं तो चावल नहीं मिलता था, हम लोगों को सब्जी नहीं मिलता था, खाना पीने के लिए बहुत मुश्किल होता था। इस वक्त तो जोजिला खुला है, इस वक्त देखो टनल हमारे लिए बनाया है सरकार ने, उसका हम बहुत धन्यवाद और मुबारक बोलता हूँ सर।
All right, those beautiful visuals coming in from the valley and the inauguration is today. But talking about the winter, what about the one we are having here in the national capital? Well, North India has been battling freezing temperatures. A heartwarming story unfolds in Delhi. Stray animals, often overlooked during these harsh winter months, are finding allies in compassionate individuals and organizations. We went on the ground to bring you some inspiring stories of those who are stepping up to keep these voiceless souls warm and safe. From cozy shelters to simple acts of kindness, this is a tale of love in action. As temperatures continue to drop, it's a reminder for all of us to do our bit as well. Whether it's a warm blanket or a little food, every gesture counts. And here are some of the heroes who are absolutely acing it.
Well, it's freezing, isn't it? Well, temperatures have dropped so low in North India that it almost feels like that the sun is also out on a holiday. But while you and I have all these warm coats, jackets and cozy blankets to beat the cold, there is this one entire community shivering in silence. Look around, stray dogs, stray animals who face the full force of extreme weather conditions. But here's the good news, ladies and gentlemen, and the good news is that there are people on the ground who won't let them suffer. From discarded drums as shelters to utilizing industrial waste as blankets and cover-ups for these stray animals, Delhi is proving that kindness can be warming.
Well, this is the story of everyday heroes, the unsung champions of compassion who are ensuring no paw is left out in the cold. Organizations like Maha Kumbh Foundation are working tirelessly, providing warmth and shelter to those who need it the most. We meet Hartirat Singh, the driving force behind Maha Kumbh Foundation. For him, it's a personal mission.
What has inspired you to include animals in your winter initiatives?
When we talk about Sarbadda Bhala, right, welfare for everyone, so why leave animals? They can't even talk, they can't even speak. कहीं ना कहीं उनको कोई नज़रअंदाज कर देते हैं लोग. So we thought that we must ensure that animals are catered to as well in the seva we do.
All right, best out of waste. Your initiative is so innovative. How did you come up with the idea of using discarded drums?
I mean, in our other initiatives as well, for example, we're running a skill development center in Madhya Pradesh. वहाँ पे the furniture is made out of recycled plastic. So all the furniture, all the desks are actually made of Tetra Paks. We were like, okay, let's ensure that the waste we have, we use it as much as possible in all our initiatives. So this was just another one where we realized कि okay, waste material को हम reuse कर लेंगे.
And they're not the only one. Straight Talk India is also proving that with a little creativity, some effort, even the most unexpected objects can become a haven. Meet Jagjit Singh, the innovator behind these unique shelters.
Winters are here and we are ready with our stray houses. Again, to remind you, these houses are absolutely for free and we are based in Gurgaon. You can come on any Sunday to pick them up. We have 2 sizes, you can choose accordingly. Please, requesting everyone to get these strays vaccinated as much as possible. People call me up from all over India. They want to do the similar thing and they are not getting drums. So I tell them, to do this you don't need a drum. All you need is love and effort. Use any old dabba, box, peti and convert it into a house. There's no rocket science into this.
But this story isn't just about organizations. It's about the everyday heroes, the individuals who open their hearts and homes to those in need. It's about the small acts of kindness that ripple through the city, creating a wave of warmth.
Each drum does cost us about 1300 to 1600 rupees, right? And we are obviously based or dependent upon donations. So the more people give, the more sewa we are able to do. Kahin na kahin India mein the concept of giving isn't there a lot. So I think people need to be a bit more generous.
So this winter, Delhi is proving that compassion can conquer even the harshest conditions. It's a reminder that we all have the power to make a difference, one act of kindness at a time.
All right, that's an awesome possum story right there. On that note, we are going to slip into a quick break. On the other side, Overdrive brings you a verdict of the latest Audi on the road. Come right back for that.
Listen,
Today is the inaugural snan here in Maha Kumbh. I'm showing you the visuals first of all. Camera person Ravinder will show you the visuals from Sangam Ghat directly, where thousands of devotees are taking a holy dip. In fact, there you see the arrangements, and in fact the visuals where UP police and other agencies are also deployed. And there you have these pilgrims, these devotees who have come here to be a part of this mega festival that has come after 12 years. I'll try to talk to people as well. महाराज जी, आपका नाम बताइए, कहाँ से आए हैं?
हम दमरी से आए हैं, हमारा नाम प्रेमपाल है।
प्रेमपाल जी, प्रेमपाल जी हर साल आते हैं, हर बार कुंभ में आते हैं या इस बार महाकुंभ में ही आए हैं?
ना, एक दफा और आए थे पहले कुंभ में और अब आए हैं।
एक बार और आए थे पहले। कैसे हैं इंतजाम बढ़िया हैं?
इंतजाम बहुत बढ़िया है।
बहुत बढ़िया है। कोई कमी नहीं है। कहाँ ठहरे हैं?
कोई कमी ना है। पहले हम आए थे, बहुत इंतजाम थे।
कोई कमी ना है। कहाँ ठहरे हुए हैं?
हम उतर पलंग ठहरे हैं।
पलंग ठहरे हैं। अच्छा, और जो घर पे देख रहे हैं उन्हें कछु कहना चाहेंगे? कछु कहना चाहेंगे उन्हें? कैसे इंतजाम है जो घर पे देख रहे हैं वो आम है तो कहाँ ध्यान रखें?
ये यहीं यहाँ घाट पे और कहाँ पर आए ये सब?
नहीं, घाट पे तो आए, लेकिन बहुत सारे लोग ऐसे हैं जो सिर्फ इसलिए नहीं आ पा रहे हैं, उन्हें लग रहा है कि बहुत भीड़ होगी, बहुत इंतजाम नहीं होगा। उस हिसाब से इंतजाम कैसे हैं उन्हें बता दीजिए जरा।
इंतजाम बहुत बढ़िया है।
इंतजाम बहुत बढ़िया है। आपका नाम क्या है, कहाँ से आए?
मेरा नाम गौरव, मैं लोनी गाजियाबाद से आया।
लोनी गाजियाबाद से आए। हम भी दिल्ली से आए हैं। अच्छा, ये बताइए गौरव, पहली बार आ रहे हैं?
जी,
पहला स्नान है आज। स्नान कर लिए?
स्नान करने जा रहे हैं।
परिवार के साथ आए या अकेले आए?
दोस्त के साथ आया हूँ सर।
दोस्त के साथ आए हैं। और महाकुंभ में पहली बार हिस्सा बन रहा है। मैं इंतजाम इसलिए पूछ रहा हूं क्योंकि अभी मौजूदा समय में जो लोग टीवी पर देख रहे हैं उनके दिमाग में सबसे पहले यही सवाल है कि इंतजाम कैसे हैं, लाखों लोग आएंगे कैसे। जरा हमें बताइए विस्तृत तौर पर किस तरह से इंतजाम है।
सर, इंतजाम है ना, प्रशासन की भी बहुत अच्छी है, हमारी योगी सरकार के भी इंतजाम बहुत अच्छे हैं।
इंतजाम बहुत अच्छा है।
बहुत अच्छा लगा यहाँ पे।
शाही स्नान का हिस्सा होंगे कल? शाही स्नान में?
जी, कल का भी है। हाँ जी।
तो यहाँ रुके हुए कितने दिनों के लिए हैं?
अभी 2-3 दिन के लिए आए हैं। अभी काशी विश्वनाथ के दर्शन करके आ रहे हैं।
काशी विश्वनाथ के दर्शन। I'll try to talk to some more people, Kohina. I'll try to, give you some more voices as far as this occasion is concerned. आप कहाँ से आए हैं? बड़ा एकदम
बंगाल से। सर हम बंगाल से आए हैं।
बंगाल से आए हैं। पहली बार है ये?
हाँ पहली बार है सर।
क्या कुछ अच्छा लग रहा है? सबसे अच्छा क्या लग रहा है यहाँ?
सर सब लोग एक साथ आके गंगा में नहा रहे हैं, बहुत अच्छा लग रहा है, बहुत महफिल है, बहुत बढ़िया महफिल है।
कितने दिनों के लिए है?
कितने दिनों के लिए? 45 दिनों के लिए सर सुने हैं।
नहीं, कुंभ तो 45 दिनों के लिए, आप कितने दिनों?
हम 2 दिन के लिए सर।
आप 2 दिन के लिए हैं। पातालपुरी और तमाम तरीके की जो जगह है जिनका प्रधानमंत्री ने इनॉग्रेशन किया था, वहाँ भी जाने का प्लान है?
हाँ सर हम तो सोच रहे हैं, हमारी टीम सोच रहे हैं जाने के लिए। देखते हैं क्या होता है।
अच्छा, किसी अखाड़े में गए?
नहीं अभी तक नहीं गए।
संत महात्माओं को हमने तो देखा, कल नागा साधु आ रहे थे, तमाम तरीके का एकदम अलग माहौल है।
हम ना वो नहीं देखे हैं, हम मिस कर दिया उसको। मैंने रात में आए थे हम इधर, तो कुछ बहुत मिस हो गया है। वो दिक्कत नहीं है। आज घूमेंगे, सारा दिन घूमेंगे, कोई दिक्कत
लेकिन कोई परेशानी नहीं है?
नहीं कोई परेशानी नहीं, बहुत अच्छा लग रहा है।
बहुत अच्छा लग
Welcome back, and it's time to take you through our auto segment, bringing you a detailed review on the facelifted 2025 Audi Q7. We go through what is new on the outside, the features and what have been added, and the driving experiences. Priced at 97.81 lakh for the top technology variant, Audi Q7 out on the roads now, and here's a glimpse.
Now the Audi Q7 has been one of the brand's defining models in India, but this generation has been around a while, enough for it to get its second facelift. So what do you get with it, and is this SUV still relevant? Let's find out. With this new update, the Audi Q7 has been brought in line with the brand's new design themes. So the grille has more chrome around the edges and the vertical studs. You also have more open venting in the bumpers with more aggressive patterns. The new 2D logo makes an appearance here, while the Matrix LED headlamps have new detailing in them. The long, flat Q7 profile is still distinct, especially since there are no major changes here aside from new color options and alloy wheel designs. Similarly, at the rear you have new lighting elements and bumper designs. The Q7, for an SUV that's been around since 2017, still looks fairly contemporary despite rivals moving on, and has that presence on the road that made it so popular in India to begin with. Now with the long length of the Audi Q7, what you get is a really useful boot space. As you just saw, this cover folds up with the bootlet, so you have a better access to the whole boot space, which is 740 liters, and even with the third row up, which are powered by the way, you still have 295 liters. So even if you're carrying 7 people, you can still carry a good load of luggage. As you can see, this lip is flat, and then I can lower it further too with the air suspension. The car will lower itself. Now again, that makes putting things easier still, and then you also have this separator kind of arrangement. Now what this does is it just makes sure your things don't flop around when you're driving. So yeah, it's a neat touch to have as well. Now as is true for most Audis, this Q7 too still feels contemporary, even though it's not the most up-to-date or modern looking space anymore. And you have that sense from the simplicity and the quite directness of the general design of the Q7. For example, you have some neat flat surfaces. Yes, maybe the amount of gloss black used is a bit too much, but it's all well done and built to a high standard. For example, the way these vents work, or just how tactile, say, some of these buttons are, they really do the job well. And then the new bits that have been added, for example, this wood trim and the upholstery, they do a little bit to enhance the space. Having said that, there are some things that really do stand out. For example, some of the plastics, say around here and in the door cards and so on, they could have been of a better grade. You don't expect that in a big 3-row luxury SUV anymore. And these screens, while they are perfectly alright, they do seem a bit outdated now compared to what the competition gives you. Having said that, the 3-screen layout with the separate panel for the climate controls feels easier to use on the move than a more modern single screen setup. You have large buttons for the temperature and fan speeds and haptic feedback. The main touchscreen is responsive enough and the digital instrumentation continues to be one of the easier ones to get used to. The central bin is a bit too shallow, but you have enough chargers and storage spaces in the door pockets, although ventilated seats are missing.
Now with the second row of the Q7, the first thing that strikes you is the kind of adjustment and flexibility that's on offer. You effectively have 3 separate seats here, each of them with their own contouring and support. So all the 3 passengers can sort of decide how they want to sit. And it's also wide enough, I feel, to accommodate 3 people together, which is great. Yeah, there is this hump, but I think you can get around that pretty easily. But what you can actually do is slide each of these forward and back like this. And even when it's fully forward, as you can see, I have a decent amount of knee room and leg room. These seats are pretty high up, so that's not a problem. And headroom is not bad either. I have this much, I'm about 5'7", and I still have this much, so that's okay. But what's also nice is the kind of recline angle that's on offer. So you can get into a very comfortable seating position here. And then of course there are amenities. Yeah, they're not absolutely at the top end of what you can expect, but it's still good. For example, I have these sunshades, these vents right on the pillar, which is always nice. My own 4-zone climate control. This small armrest here with my own cup holders, some Type-C charge ports, and this big door pocket.
The Q7 largely carries over the same features as the last model, which means that it is slightly lacking in this regard. While passive safety is good, ADAS features are still some way behind current expectations.
Now calling the Q7 a 7-seater is a bit of a stretch. It's a 5+2, I must say. So while getting in is quite easy, I can just do this and I have a nice wide space to get myself in. That's not too difficult. If you're taller, yes, it's quite a crouch, and these seats power fold up like you just saw. And once I'm inside, as you can see, space is okay. I mean, I have just about enough space to put for my knees. Yeah, the usual third row kind of situation is here where I don't have much thigh support at all. But I must say the backrest is not too bad. I have good support, and these headrests also do their job pretty well.
All right, with that, it's a wrap on today's edition of The Breakfast Club. Let us know what you liked, what you didn't, what you want more of. Clearly, on the work-life balance, the health and wealth balance, we'll be speaking on all those issues through the week. Until then, bye-bye.
Today is the inaugural snan here in Maha Kumbh. I'm showing you the visuals first of all. Camera person Ravinder will show you the visuals from Sangam Ghat directly, where thousands of devotees are taking a holy dip. In fact, there you see the arrangements, and in fact the visuals where UP police